this is the main thing, the background, the basics. So don't miss these fundamentals of social standards. We'll give you a kind of a clear background of the things to expect from the rest of the modules. And this session 1 will take you through the introduction to social standards and sustainable social development. We have an outline. Okay, go ahead. An outline of the things we are going to cover here. We'll take you through the introduction, the learning objectives, the outcomes, then we'll ask you, what are social standards? I know all of you are coming from different offices and units, but we have to know what social standards are all about. Why are these social standards of businesses and organizations important to us, to everyone? We have topics and themes in social standards of organizations, the benefits of implementing these as social standards, and the historical context and evolution of social development, sustainable development. Then we also look at the contributors to sustainable social development, the Millennium Development Goals and achievements, and also the challenges. Then the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, role of World Bank in sustainable social development, and fundamentals of sustainable social development, then the role of social standards in sustainable social development. I think that's a repeat. Then we also summarize and conclude. We also have a case study. When we go through the case study, you also put 1 and 2 together to really understand what we are talking about when we talk about social standards or sustainable development. We have questions and answers and references for you to go back. If you want to get more information or read more, you go to the references and check the references out. Okay? Then we have an introduction. The social standards. So we know about it. No matter where you're coming from, there are standards, social standards, the norms and guidelines that will tell us the acceptable behaviors within societies and business organizations. Wherever you're coming from, even in your families, there are behaviors that are acceptable. In local communities, these standards, they maintain order through norms upheld by leaders. In businesses too, they guide our responsible practices on human rights, labor conditions, community engagement, and environmental protection. Also, social standards are very crucial because they ensure ethical operations, improve our working conditions, reduce environmental impact, and build trust and reputation. Over time, these concepts of social standards and sustainable development, as defined first in the Brundtland Report, they have actually impacted all countries of the world, and we want to join them if we have not joined yet. And that's why we are having this kind of training so that we will join suit with other countries of the world. The United Nations 8 Millennium Development Goals and the subsequent 17 Sustainable Development Goals, they have actually increased the development scope to encompass a wide range of issues. They have now included poverty reduction, social justice, human rights, and climate change. All these have given rise to the recent evolving and complex field that we are enjoying now. We call it sustainable social development. Okay? Now, we are talking about sustainable development as a new nomenclature, but it's still about social standards, the norms that we are used to. This session will present the evolution and the fundamentals of sustainable social development. The rest of the sessions will be on the World Bank environmental and social standards, the concept and implementations of social risk assessment and mitigation. Okay? Then we have, very importantly, we have to go through the learning objectives no matter what. It's telling you the concept and importance of social standards in communities and businesses and all that, even in our forums. in our units, in our ministries, wherever you're coming from, they are very, very important. We have key topics that we normally talk about in social standards. We are still going to go through them in our subsequent modules. We have our labor standards. Okay, everybody will be treated fairly when we go through the labor standards, and of course, human rights. When we talk about human rights, we are pushing out to the world for everybody to know that some things are our rights. They are not even privileges, they are rights. And also environmental protection, because when you protect the environment, you are also protecting human beings and all the biodiversities. Then we talk about so many things, evolution of sustainable social development. Who are the key contributors and fundamentals of sustainable social development and growth of social standards and sustainable social development? When we talk about sustainable social development, before we know development now will come and maybe will last for just that period of that development or the stipulated period for that particular development project. Then when we talk about sustainable social development, we are talking about that development that will generation, and the next generation will enjoy it, and the next generation and on will enjoy sustainable development, not the development that will just come and go. Those are the objectives. Then for the outcomes, at the end of this lesson or this model, you'll be able to at least understand, if you have not understood it before or you know it, maybe increase your knowledge or widen your horizon on social standards and their roles in society and businesses and also in our workplaces. Then why are social standards essential for ethical and responsible business operations? We're also going to identify, discuss key topics like we mentioned before, because we are all laborers in our different fields. So it is good to treat laborers fairly and equitably. Describe various methods businesses use to implement social standards and the benefits of those methods. Then we also look at the historical context, then describe about the Millennium Goals and the Sustainable Development Goals. Now, what are social standards? Those are established norms because they are there, we know them. This is the way to go, this is not the way to go. Those are the guidelines that will tell us that some behaviors are acceptable, while some are not acceptable, even at home or in our workplaces. And some practices within societies and business organizations that can be tolerated, that are lawful, some are not lawful. Then for local communities and societies, presently, all our local communities or professional societies, they have social standards that all members of the communities or professional societies abide by. They have community leaders or presidents and executive officers who sustain these norms and principles for maintaining order. And maybe a president where you are or an executive officer, there are norms and principles of that particular organization that you stick to, and also make sure that your members abide by those norms and principles in order to maintain order. Then for business organizations, those are sets of principles, still the same thing we are talking about, and guidelines that staff should adhere to in their operations and decision making to also maintain order. They encompass aspects such as human rights, labor conditions, community engagements. Okay? So now, why are these social standards very, very important? They are very important for several reasons. When we have good social standards, okay, ensure that businesses operate in a responsible and ethical manner, orderly manner. Nobody is, untreated, maybe mistreated, or maybe, not given the right to do things, or maybe nobody is even cared for. No, everybody knows that this is the right way to do things, and they abide by it, and everybody is happy. It will help improve the working conditions. When you're treated fairly, you have your health and safety and living standards of employees and communities, okay, in order, everybody will be happy. When coming to work, will be happy. It will also help reduce the negative environmental impacts of business activities, help to build trust and reputation with stakeholders, including customers, investors, and the general public. When you're very happy in your workplace, you also treat customers or investors and the general public in a well-trusted manner. Now that most of you are being elected to come for this trip, you are happy. When you go back, you take whatever you have learned to your workplace and also discuss with your boss. And you'll be happy, you even appreciate him or her for sending you to this kind of training. Okay? What's the problem? Double. Who is what? B12 is disturbing us. Who is the person? Okay? Sorry for the interruption. Okay? No, next slide now. I hope you're with me, right? Am I getting responses? Any response from the online participants? Okay, good. Thank you very much. Then we have some topics and themes, social standards of organizations. Very important to us. We have some key topics, okay, that we always find in social standards. Number one is labor standards for all of us, for me, for you, and all of the laborers out there. We talk about labor standards on fair wages, safe working conditions, freedom of association, and the right to collective bargaining. Those are the things we talk about when we talk about social standards. What are the standards in this place? Human rights guidelines on respect for human rights, including the prohibition of forced labor, child labor, and discrimination. Then when we come to environmental protection guidelines on how do we minimize environmental impacts, we are still going to talk about environmental pollution and resource depletion. Okay? Can you hear me? I hope you hear me. So we talk about that because we really want to protect the environment as well as human beings. Then we also talk about this one. I like this very much. Stakeholder engagement. We look at stakeholder engagement and the principles for local communities supporting development. Yeah. So when we talk about stakeholder engagement, it's also very key. Even this training that we have planned, we have to involve all the stakeholders so that at the end of the day, we all will agree on what to do and how to do it, and everybody will be happy. If you're doing something without involving a particular decision or project, right? Then how do businesses get social standards? Have some ways to do that by developing a code of conduct. They're hearing me. And they're hearing me. They might start. Okay, thank you very much, technical ish. So we have a way of doing that. This is the code of conduct. Every business will have their code of conduct. Ministry will have a code of conduct. No matter where you are, there will be a code of conduct. So this is the way it is done in this organization. This is the way it's done in this ministry. This is the way it's done. Even in your family, you have like ways or codes that guide you. Conducting social audits to know whether things are done right, engaging with stakeholders at all times to make sure that, yes, everybody is on the same page. Then investing in social and environmental initiatives, like this one now, being cognizant about investing in human capital. Because when we train people from all over, even NGOs or other people, then we know that we are doing investments. We are investing a lot, and maybe now we may not see the dividends, but later everything will be profited. So investment in social standards, social capital. Then businesses that implement social standards, they benefit in a number of ways. It's not like when you invest in social or implement social standards, you're going to lose out. People will say, no, if we do this for our workers, we are not going to make lots of profit. Profit is not just determined by economic profit. There are other things that you can look at and say, yes, we have actually progressed. So when businesses implement social standards, there are a lot of benefits. One is your reputation will be improved, and brand image. This company, they pay well, they treat their employees very well. If you go there, people will be like looking for jobs in that particular organization because of the way they treat people, and thereby increasing your brand image. Then customer loyalty, people will be loyal to you. They know that you're well organized, everything is in order, you have respect for human beings. Then also you have reduced risks and costs. Increased productivity, everybody will be more than happy to come to work very early, work and not cheat. Or maybe think that, why am I doing this? At the end of the day now, not get anything for it. Everybody will even just try their very best to give in their very best when you implement social standards in your organizations, in your businesses, ministries, and all that. And you will have project success. Any venture will be successful. You also have access to new markets and opportunities when you do that. It's not like you're going to lose out. We have this evolution of sustainable development. Like before I said, development is what we know before, but now we are looking at every development from the angle, from the perspective of sustainable development. After this training, now you're not going to be talking about development again. You'll be talking about sustainable development. The roots of sustainable development can be traced back to early conservation movements in the 19th and 20th centuries that emphasized the importance of preserving natural resources and maintaining ecological balance. Okay, these early focus primarily centered on environmental sustainability, because before we are looking at ecological balance, biodiversity, and all that, we are looking from the lens of environmental sustainability. Now we have pushed it to sustainable social development. The Brundtland Report is the one that did it, and that is where the rise of sustainable development came from. It's a pivotal moment arrived in 1987 of yesterday with the publication of the Brundtland Report, our common future. This report coined the term sustainable development and defined it as development that meets the needs of this present generation without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. That is the Brundtland Report for you. This definition broadened the scope of sustainability to encompass not only environmental concerns, but also social and economic dimensions. Now people are being trained, participants from all over the world. We have online training, self-paced and all that. That is sustainable, social sustainability for you, not just from the environmental angle. Make sure that this generation will meet their needs, and also you're preparing the next generation to also meet their needs. That is sustainable development. Hence, the Brundtland Report of that 1987 popularized the notion of a holistic approach to sustainable development that balances economic, social, and environmental objectives. Now, before then, it was all about environmental success, economic success. Social success was not actually looked at. Okay, but now we have encompassed the three main things that make up sustainability: environmental, social, and economic. Before, economic growth is all measured by wealth, money, but not anymore. Economic growth shouldn't be the only yardstick to measure growth. Now we are talking about what about the social growth? What about the environmental growth? So since the Broadland report, the concept of sustainable development has continued to evolve and will continue and continue to evolve. That is when we are going to see the civilization we've been looking for in a long while. Now it encompasses a wide range of social issues are coming up and everything is being included. Poverty reduction, social justice, human rights, and climate change. How can you measure growth, development without considering poverty reduction, social justice, human rights, and climate change? This encompassing concept of sustainable development, which emerged in response to the shortcomings of traditional development models, which often prioritize economic growth, has given rise the sustainable social development. Is before economic growth, but no. And you're overlooking poverty reduction, social justice, human rights, equity, and all that. And equality, climate change, child labor, no, not anymore. Everything is encompassing now to give you that sustainable growth. We are talking about social development should also be included to know that, yes, we are making progress. We are developing. We are no longer going to be developing, underdeveloped country. We are now going to have the full development that we've been looking for in a long while because everything will be included. Next slide, please. Now, the three contributors to sustainable social development are the following. Look at the Millennium Development Goals. Look at the Sustainable Development Goals. And now the World Bank Environmental and Social Framework. All of these have actually tried to bring all the three things together, the tripod of development, like we said, economic, environmental, and social. Now, World Bank is hammering on the three tripods of development. Now, Millennium Development History and Background was even in 2000 at the United Nations Millennium Summit, where world leaders from almost 189 United Nations member states, including Nigeria, they signed the Millennium Declaration. And they have only 8 goals with 21 targets, thinking that they will achieve all these things by 2015. Okay, by all the UN member countries will achieve all the 8 Millennium Goals. The Millennium Goals were aimed to address the world's most critical development challenges: eradicate extreme poverty and hunger, achieve universal primary education, promote gender equality and empower women, reduce child mortality, improve maternal health, combat HIV and AIDS, malaria, and other diseases, ensure environmental sustainability, develop a global partnership for development. All the 8 Millennium Development Goals, they had impacts on social life of people in their various countries, especially developing African countries. Okay, next. Now, they achieved quite a lot during that time because it was their first time to be out there. And extreme poverty was reduced by 50% from 1.9 billion people in 1990 to 836 million in 2015. We also have increased primary school enrollment and gender parity in education. So many people achieved that. We have child mortality that was reduced to more than 50% globally. Then we also have had access to clean water. Okay? Now, HIV treatment and expanded access to antiretroviral therapy for HIV patients. Now, yeah, we are challenges and lessons learned from that MDGs. The progress and achievements were not informed across countries and regions. Of course, you should know. Hence, the United Nations felt there was a need for stronger governance and accountability, and also new areas of intervention were discovered. So lessons learned. Thereafter, Sustainable Development Goals was launched to replace the MDGs and close out in 2015. Okay? Then the 2030 agenda now is where we are. For sustainable development is a global framework adopted by all United Nations member states in 2015. After the MDGs, they didn't quite give them what they had wanted. It was designed, this one now was designed to end poverty, protect the planet, and ensure peace and prosperity for all by 2030. And whenever we're talking about all these things, have in mind your country, your motherland, Nigeria, to know where to place us. The key features of the 2030 now, agenda, we are in 2025, 5 more years to go. It's this one now, the 2030, the Millennium Sustainable Development Goals have 17 goals to meet. Okay, and also it has 169 targets. Major components of the agenda. It was universal and inclusive. It applies to all countries, whether developed or developing. The idea is that no one should be left behind. Is it true for our motherland, our dear motherland? No one should be left behind. The recommended integrated approach. The agenda recognizes the connections, of course, between social, environmental, and economic factors. These 3 things must come together. They are interconnected if we are going to get it right. Social, environmental, and economic factors must be connected. We must connect them. Okay? It is a connection where you have social, you don't leave out environmental. Where you have social, you must have environmental, and you must have economic factors. The partnerships for implementation. Now we are talking about collaboration between governments, private sector, civil society, and individuals. Look at this great collaboration we're having with the Federal Ministry of Women Affairs, bringing NGOs from all over, even this part of the Niger. Still, we are hoping to get more, even from all over Nigeria, no matter where you are. The collaboration is what we need. We need these collaborations in order to achieve our goals, our targets. Then it is called partnerships for implementation. The periodic reviews, from time to time, countries report on their progress through voluntary national reviews. Okay? Ahead. Okay. It's just like to review whether you're making effort, progress, or whether you have challenges and all that. Next. Then, when we look at the 17, when I teach participants or students about the 17 Sustainable Development Goals, I always tell them you can have your beak and tick the ones that you think we have made progress or we have achieved at least 90%, over 50% in this dear country. The 17 Sustainable Development Goals are sets of global goals adopted by the United Nations in 2015, which Nigeria is a member country. SDGs aim to achieve a better and more sustainable future for all by addressing key global challenges like poverty, hunger, inequality, climate change, and environmental degradation. The SDGs are as follows. Number 1, no poverty. Ending poverty in all its forms, everywhere. Nigeria in mind. keep Nigeria in mind when we're going through all these goals. Zero hunger, ending hunger, achieving food security and improved nutrition, and promoting sustainable agriculture. When we're talking about improved nutrition, you don't want to eat bread and mineral in the morning, bread and mineral in the afternoon, bread and mineral at night, because you don't have money to, eat what you want. So when we talk about improved nutrition and promoting sustainable agriculture, think about Nigeria. Good health and well-being, ensuring healthy lives and promoting well-being for all at all ages. Can we afford to see the doctor, go for checkups, to know whether you have good health and well-being? Can you afford to do exercises? Even if you don't want to do it at home, you want to join others at any exercise center to encourage you. Can you afford to do that? Quality education. Can you take your children or maybe your child to any school that you think that has quality education? And now we have started embarking on a 2-week warning strike. As soon as started that, or are we going to be faced with strikes and strikes all the time? So when we talk about quality education, ensuring inclusive and equitable quality education and promoting lifelong learning opportunities for all, think about Nigeria. Gender equality, achieving gender equality and empowering all women and girls. We are so happy that we are being empowered. I'm a woman, and I'm happy and I'm glad that I'm a woman. What about other women and girls that really need opportunities, but they can't get it? Next slide, please. Clean water and sanitation, ensuring availability and sustainable management of water and sanitation for all. Can we do that? Can we boast of that in Nigeria? Affordable and clean energy, ensuring access to affordable, reliable, sustainable, and modern energy for all. Can we boast about that in Nigeria? And we are a member of this honorable nations, United Nations. Decent work and economic growth, promoting sustained, inclusive, and sustainable economic growth, full and productive employment, and decent work for all. Can we boast of that in Nigeria? Industry, innovation, and infrastructure, building resilient infrastructure, promoting inclusive and sustainable industrialization, and fostering innovation. Can we boast of that? Are we still lagging behind? Are we even getting there? Are we on the right track to get to this end? Reduce inequalities, reducing inequality within and among countries. Sustainable cities and communities, making cities and human settlements inclusive, safe, resilient, and sustainable. Wow. Nigeria in mind, please. Responsible consumption and production, ensuring sustainable consumption and production patterns, so that you will not consume what you cannot afford, or you consume everything without saving for future. And your production patterns. Production and consumption should always balance. Go ahead. The climate action. Can we take urgent climate action? Next slide. Look, before this, can we take action of any climate change that may even affect us? Have we actually planned for the future or any emergency humanitarian services? Can we boast about that in Nigeria? Life below water, conserving and sustainably using the ocean, seas, and marine resources for sustainable development. When you see places that have been abused or been contaminated or polluted our waters, you think about life below water, because when you pollute our water bodies, you are polluting all aquatic life there. And also it will affect humans. When organisms in the sea, in the oceans, waters are affected, it will also affect the consumers, and the consumers are human beings like us. And also the environment, surrounding environment will be affected. Life on land, protecting restoring and promoting sustainable use of terrestrial ecosystems. Sustainably managing our forests, are we doing that? Combating desertification, or are we trying to remove all our trees for commercial purposes? Are we doing that? Are we halting and reversing land degradation and halting biodiversity loss without caring? If we need any land for any kind of projects, housing, or railway, or airports, do we really care about biodiversity or land degradation? Do we really care? Do we plan well? How well do we plan all these things? If you want to embark on major projects that will really need our lands or terrestrial ecosystems to be affected, Nigeria in mind, then peace, justice, and strong institutions, promoting peaceful and inclusive societies for sustainable development, providing access to justice for all, and building effective, accountable, and inclusive institutions at all levels. Look at promoting peace in Nigeria because of the diversified ethnic groups. Nobody, where are you from? And the discrimination starts from there. You deserve what is happening to you, and all that, and all that. Can you imagine that? And we are a member of the United Nations. We still have 5 more years to go. Probably, maybe, before that 5 years, we will achieve something. Then partnerships for the goals, strengthening the means of implementation and revitalizing the global partnership for sustainable development. It is good to partner. You cannot do it alone. Collaboration is very important. Okay, the 17 goals, they are interconnected and require collaborative efforts from governments, businesses, civil society, and individuals to be achieved. Look at what is happening now with this World Bank project. We are doing lots of collaboration with businesses, governments, ministries, departments, agencies, civil society, and everybody. Okay, because you're trying to achieve something. Next slide, please. Though the 17 SDGs are interconnected, the following 6 are socially focused and forms the basic themes for sustainable social development. No poverty, zero hunger, good health and well-being, quality education, gender equality, reduce inequalities. You go back today, think about all these goals that are basic things for sustainable social development. Are we going to boast in this country that there is no poverty, there is no zero hunger, we have good health and well-being? When last did you visit the doctor? Sometimes somebody will ask you to go for a particular checkup. You will tell the person, I don't think I have that kind of money now when I have the money. And that disease or infection is eating you up because you don't have money. Quality education, the private institutions that are going on and going on non-stop, nothing will be interrupted with the educational system. Not everyone will afford private education for our children. Now, we are looking at what is happening in our public education system. Do we still have the quality education when we have interruptions in our curriculum and all that? Gender equality, reduced inequalities. Can we talk about all these things? When we go home, we think about all these things. Next, please. So the World Bank Group, they have played a significant role in the implementation of the 17 SDGs, like us now. You're seeing what we are doing so far, what we have done so far. These efforts are closely aligned with its twin goals of ending extreme poverty and promoting shared prosperity in a sustainable manner. We have key contributors of the World Bank Group to the SDGs, thought leadership and analytical support. The World Bank Group provides in-depth research and data analysis to inform policy decisions on SDGs, publications on World development indicators and the trajectories for sustainable development. Indicator development and monitoring. World Bank Group contributes to defining metrics used to assess progress in SDGs reporting. Financial and technical assistance. They provide partnership funds and finance for the sustainable development goals, and also global convening and partnerships. Also, the leverage is positioned to bring together governments, private sector entities, and civil society organizations to foster collaboration and mobilize resources for achieving the SDGs. They are really trying. Okay, good. Next slide. The World Bank launched the Environmental and Social Framework in 2016. This framework has 10 environmental and social standards, ESS1 to ESS10. They have been introduced then to replace the old safeguards rules, the guidelines. Yeah, they follow the guidelines, the things to do, but now they have come up with the 10 environmental and social standards to replace the old safeguards. The World Bank environmental and social standards, they play a crucial role in promoting sustainable social development by setting a framework to manage risks, enhance positive outcomes, and ensure inclusive, sustainable growth. The establishment of the 10 ESS, okay, has actually added impetus to the evolution of sustainable social development as an interesting and complex discipline. However, the environmental and social issues, they are still connected. Some of the ESS specifically address social issues such as protecting vulnerable groups, communities, promoting social inclusion and equity. Nobody, remember we said it earlier, should be left behind. Strengthening labor and working conditions, ensuring community health and safety, and supporting sustainable livelihoods. All the ESS from 1 to 10, they will be presented in other sessions of this model or even subsequent ones. Then for fundamentals of sustainable social development now aims to achieve social progress in a way that meets the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. You work and save for your family, right? You don't just finish your paycheck. Or when you get your pay after the end of the month, you don't finish it, you save for the future of your children, to train your children. Even some people, if they have enough, they will say, even when I die, the children will go on without missing me financially. This is, put aside for the children. Everybody does that. You don't just get your pension and finish it. That is planning for the future. Do we plan for the future generations here in our country? All the decisions you make, policy decisions, do they care about the future generations so that they will also meet their own needs? Some people will say, I would like my first son or all my children to attend university. Even when I die, this money is put out for them, so that all of them will attend the university. They will not say that there is no money for attending university. So things are being always planned for the future. So we should also learn how to plan for the future. In your offices, when you're there, don't think that when I work, retire, I don't care what will happen. Do I care? Please give me my paycheck. It is not like that. You plan and do well so that when you leave that particular seat, that particular table, the person that will come will enjoy it, even maybe more, and the person that will be there will also think about the person that will come after. That is sustainable social development for each and every one of us. The purpose of sustainable social development is to improve the quality of life for everyone in projects and operations. This will includes reducing poverty, improving health and education, and promoting social justice. We are laying emphasis on promoting social and economic development in a balanced and integrated way. It means that we have to consider the needs of all stakeholders. even in your family, stakeholders, okay, they include dad, mom, children, or aunties, because sometimes there are things, decisions that happen in a particular family that will affect aunties and uncles. So you also look at their needs. You also include the environment, the economy, and society when you're planning. That is part of sustainable social development. You ensure that future generations, they will have the same opportunities as present generations. Not when you come and go and you squander everything. When people will come after you, there will be nothing left for them to carry on from where you left. This means conserving our natural resources, combating climate change, and managing environmental risks. Next. Now, sustainable development encompasses three core dimensions. Like I said, whenever you're thinking about sustainable development, the three things go together. The social will focus on improving the well-being of people, including access to this education we've been talking about, because without education, there will be no future. Healthcare, if you're not well, can you think about going to work or doing other things? And also decent work. When you go to your workplace, you want to be happy so that you'll be more productive and be at your best. To treat others, okay, your co-workers, and also make sure that you'll be productive so that the company, business, organization, or wherever you are, the ministry, the department, the unit, wherever you are, you're also gain from your expertise. And social protection, make sure everybody is well protected. It emphasizes equity, inclusivity, and participation. Everybody is included, even if like handicapped, disabled persons, consider them because they are all human beings. You don't plan without them. And make sure that everybody participates fully. Do not discriminate against anybody. We have our vulnerable groups. In social standards, we even prefer our vulnerable groups to other healthy groups. Healthy in the sense that vulnerable groups, they don't have voices. We prefer to work with them than those that have voices. Economic, it means that we have to promote economic growth that is inclusive and sustainable. You create jobs, you foster innovation, and ensuring fair distribution of wealth. Then for the environment, we cannot overemphasize this need to protect and preserve our environment, making sure that we be responsible in using our natural resources and mitigating climate change. By achieving sustainable social development, we can build a more just, equitable, and sustainable world for all. And this is what other countries, other developed countries are enjoying. By achieving sustainable social development, we are going to build a Nigeria, a more just Nigeria, equitable Nigeria, and sustainable Nigeria for all to enjoy. Next slide, please. Then the key features now. Sustainable development is always a complex concept because of the social and environmental and economic factors that are kind of combined together. All these are designed to create a better future for everyone. It emphasizes the interconnectedness of this. We have talked about this over and over again. It seeks to address social inequalities. We should do away with social inequalities. We should promote social justice and foster inclusive growth. Everybody should be included. Nobody should be left behind. Sustainable social development encourages the active participation of all stakeholders. No stakeholder is small. You may be a financial stakeholder. You may be a project person, okay, maybe beneficiary. You are going to benefit from a particular project. You are not small. Even the person bringing in millions or billions of any fund is important. Even you that is going to benefit from that project is also equally important. Your decision will count no matter how little. So we are making decision. Everybody should be included in the decision-making processes, especially those most vulnerable, because they are the people that will actually enjoy in any project. You shouldn't leave them behind. Then this approach of sustainable social development, okay, looks to balance different needs. We all mentioned the 17 Sustainable Development Goals. Each need should be met, should be balanced. Okay? It seeks to create opportunities for everyone to benefit from development and reduce poverty. So whenever we are talking about any kind of development, everybody will benefit. Even those of you now that have been nominated to attend this training, you're going to benefit. Nobody will be left behind. Even after this batch, another batch will come, because the idea is to get everyone to benefit from this kind of venture. It's not like only top people will benefit. Only small people will not even be considered. No, everybody will be considered in due time, because the idea is sustainable social development, where we seek this approach of looking at every need. We are individuals. Your need to drink water when you're thirsty is that my need to drink water when I'm thirsty. Your need to eat food when you're hungry is my need to eat food when I'm hungry. Because we are all human beings, we have the same need. And all our needs must be addressed. Okay? It's not because you're a woman, your needs, when you want to drink water or do certain things, it will not be the needs of men, because there are some needs, specific needs that women need, that men will not need that. You know what I'm talking about. Sustainable social development is not just about achieving economic growth, but about creating a world that is both prosperous and equitable. Next. You may recall that social standards are established norms and guidelines that dictate acceptable behaviors and practices within societies and business organizations. Social standards involve principles for improving the working conditions and living standards of employees and communities. That is social equity for you. Reducing the negative environmental impacts of business activities, environmental protection, building trust and reputation with stakeholders for service provision and business continuity, that is economic growth for you. Social standards serve as foundational pillars that ensure development initiatives are equitable, inclusive, and respectful of human dignity. Thus, social standards are crucial elements of sustainable development, and along with the World Bank environmental and social framework, okay, they form the foundation of sustainable social development discipline. Yes. In summary, social standards such as labor rights, human rights, health safety measures, stakeholder engagement, and all other things we are going to be facing this week and next, they play a vital role in enhancing project success and building trust with communities. By integrating social standards into their operations, businesses can promote sustainable development. Understanding the historical context and evolution of sustainable development is crucial for effectively addressing the complex challenges facing our world today. Achieving sustainable social development requires a collective effort from governments, businesses, civil society, and individuals to adopt sustainable practices and foster social and environmental responsibility. The Sustainable Development Goals, remember, provide a comprehensive framework for addressing global challenges such as poverty, inequality, and climate change. The World Bank's environmental and social framework supports sustainable social development by focusing on community engagement, labor conditions, and social inclusion. Sustainable Social development balances economic, social, and environmental factors to promote well-being for current and future generations. The concept now of this sustainable social development recognizes the interconnectedness between economic, environmental, and social factors. Sustainable social development is complex and still evolving. However, focusing on achieving the SDGs and the use of the World Bank ESS will be a great plus for business organizations and countries. Next. Sustainable, in conclusion, sustainable social development balances the three. By now, you know the three. So when you see your quiz question as the three pillars of sustainable development, please don't you dare fail it. Economic growth with social and environmental concerns. It tries to achieve economic development without compromising the environment or social well-being of the people. You don't ignore the environment or social well-being of the people because you want to have economic growth, economic development. You don't do that. The three must go hand in hand and the three must be balanced. The concept of sustainable social development has evolved significantly over time, rooted in the recognition of the interconnectedness between economic, environmental, and social factors. Early conservation movements laid the foundation for the sustainability, which was later expanded by the Bronze Land Report in 1987 to encompass social and economic dimensions. The introduction of the Millennium Development Goals and subsequently the Sustainable Development Goals provided a comprehensive framework for addressing global challenges such as poverty, inequality, climate change, and environmental degradation. Businesses and communities have a crucial role, not businesses, even ministries, departments, agencies, they have a crucial role to play in promoting sustainable social development through the adoption of social standards, establish norms that promote fairness, human rights, environmental protection, and responsible business practices. Implementing these standards ensures that development is inclusive and equitable while fostering trust, improving working conditions, and building resilient communities. The journey towards sustainable social development requires collaboration between governments, businesses, civil society, and individuals. Go. Next. Then we have case studies, and we'll talk about that later. Case studies on this sustainable development. How do we implement this in the Nigerian agricultural sector? Go back to the last slide, not the case study, because this is not the time for the case study. Go to the last where I thanked them for listening. I thank them for listening. Yes. Thank you for your attention. Gracias, merci, obrigado, obrigada, da